We've moved on now to Abbots Bromley to visit the long distance lofts of Edward Froggatt. Good morning, Edward.
Morning, Keith.
How long have you been in the sport?
I first joined about 1952, I think was about my first year. Well, I think that was the first year I actually won a prize, I think.
Yeah. What sort of racing do you prefer?
Well, I've done all the short distance racing over the years, and I'm concentrating more on the distance now, sort of Saints and Bergerac and Paul and things like that.
Yeah. So what's one or two of your best performances?
I think about 2 years ago when we were 4th Open and 10th Open, Paul.
Was that national?
That was out of the National Flying Club, yes.
Yeah. How far did you fly from Poe?
About 662 miles.
Oh, it's a long way then.
Oh, it's a long way, and it was a hard race for them as well.
Yeah.
Finished up with the one next morning as well, an early bird next morning.
Yeah. So you
That particular year I won all the averages in the national.
Oh, congratulations, well done.
Oh yeah, that was very good.
So you like the national best, do you?
Well, it's a challenge between everybody in the whole country, like, you know, you're not flying in areas, you're flying against everybody.
Yeah, the best, the cream.
Yes.
This nice mealy cock. Eddie, what's this one?
Well, his sire won section for me twice out of Paw, which is, you know, a remarkable performance, like, you know.
Yeah.
And all his children, well, not all of them, but most of his children have all been to Paw, which is 662 miles. There's even, I've got a daughter of him which was 4th Open Paw, and all the rest of them, I think I've got about a dozen in the loft, which have all fled Paw now off him.
Yeah, there's a wonderful stock pigeon in.
Yes, and everyone he breeds, I've still got a lot of them left.
Yeah. Has this pigeon raced himself?
No, he's never been on the road. What actually happened when I was racing the good mealy cock, I kept so many of his children by on one side, and in case anything happened to him, and I was unfortunate I lost him one day on a training toss from Salisbury, and it was a good thing as I've got these back, and this is the best son out of him as I've kept, and he's bred a marvellous lot of pigeons.
Gold dust, absolute gold dust, them sort of pigeons, that breed them sort of pigeons, aren't they?
Well, I mean, the thing is, with racing pigeons, if you've got one as breeds, you're made. But if you haven't got one as breeds, you can forget it.
What system you race your pigeons on, Edward?
Half of the team is on Widowwood, and then the rest are on natural. I've sort of normally got about 12 cocks on Widowwood, and then about 12 pairs on natural.
Yeah, when do you pair them up then?
I used to pair it very early. I used to pair my stock birds up in December, and then I used to pair my racers up in March, my widowers, and then my long distance pigeons, I always paired those up in sort of April, towards the end of April.
The Widowwood pigeons, do you break them down?
I do break them down, but it all depends whether I'm racing Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Yeah, but the Widowwood are really for the sprint races then? You're not...
Yeah, well, I don't sort of bother now with the sprinters like I used to do.
No. How about training them?
Training, as much training as possible. The only thing nowadays is we have hawk problems, and normally they used to fly out all day on their own and they weren't disturbed, but at the moment, with a lot of hawks about, they spend more time in the loft than what they do outside.
Yeah, I must congratulate you on your lofts. They've got some wonderful character. It's a converted barn, your loft, is it?
Yes, well, for years I had a wooden loft in the garden, and there was a small gable end on the loft we're actually standing in at the moment, and we converted it. It took us about 3 years to do, a little bit at a time, and eventually I brought them all up under the one roof. The thing is, it's dry up here, it's safe from vermin and everything else, and the pigeons aren't disturbed at all.
No, because you're a farmer.
Yes, well, I've farmed all my life.
Yeah. Would you farm?
We're dairy mainly.
Yes, so you've got some nice horses down there.
Yes, we've got 2 pointer pointers which are running at the moment. They're doing quite well. They've been in the money 2 or 3 weeks on the run.
Yeah. It must be hard to find time for the pigeons.
Well, it's like everything else. I thought at one time I should have a bit more time with the pigeons nowadays, but I seem to get less time with them, and everybody else has got more interest, and so I'm helping everybody else at the moment.
This is another nice pigeon, Edward. What's this one?
Yes, this is the hen who's won first section for me out of Paw and was the 4th Open 2 years ago.
Was that the Poe National?
Out of Paw, yes.
Yeah. How was this one raced? Was it natural or Widowwood?
It was raced natural at the time. It was raced as a young bird in the Young Bird National as a baby, and as a 2-year-old it went down to the coast, and then it was raced to Paw the following year.
Beautiful pigeon. What family is this pigeon?
This is a daughter out of the old mealy cock, which you saw earlier on.
Yeah, as I say, certainly is gold dust, that pigeon. Breeding pigeons like this. Beautiful hen, mate.
Yeah, well, all half brothers and full brothers and sisters, they've all been to paw.
This is the stock end of your loft then, Eddie?
Yeah, well, this is where all my breeders are. In each section, there's 3 lots of boxes. And when I pair them up, they're always locked in the boxes till they've actually laid. And from then onwards, in each section, the same sire is either his children are all in the same lot. So if they do mistread one another, I know they're all from the same line.
Yeah. How many pairs of stock birds you keep?
Normally I've got about 18.
Yeah. When do you pair them up?
They're paired up in December, but I've paired them up late this time. I didn't pair up till after Christmas this year.
Yeah. What's the basic families you keep?
My old reds I've had for years, and then the other ones I brought back into this country in 1964 were the Marshall Desmits and the Willicotts. I've also tried a few of the Van den Bosch, but the Van den Bosch, as far as I'm concerned at the moment, they're short distance pigeons, and what I'm aiming for at the moment, I've only got a few left.
Yeah. What do you feed your birds on? Yeah, your stock birds.
Basically mixtures. I do use horse beans sort of later on in the year for them. I put the hopper in once they've started breeding.
These are one or two of your top stock birds then, Eddie. What are they?
These, the cocks, they're all sons off Double Gold, which was 2nd national for me at Nance and 6th in the Midlands national at Nance, and he also fled Paul. And the 3 cocks, the other 3 cocks are bred out of a son out of Motor, and they were actually paired to a daughter of Double Gold, so they're all related. All the cocks in this section are related.
What system do you prefer for long distance then, Eddie? Widowed or natural?
Well, I've raced on the widowed at the long distance over the years. They've won the section for me about 3 or 4 times, I think. But I prefer the natural system because I can race my hens as well.
Yeah. How many pairs of natural pigeons you keep?
I used to keep about 12 pairs, but I've got a few more this time than 12 pairs.
Yeah. Well, what's your procedure for training?
Well, as I said previously, I used to train as little as possible, but and they used to have the open hole every day. But now with predators, I'm finding I have to use the basket a lot more often than what I used to do.
Yeah. How do you like to send pigeons to long distance then? Do you like them sitting?
The hens especially, preferably if I can have them on the first round of youngsters. I usually save them all through the season. If I can get them on the first round or just basically chipping when they should be returning home.
Yeah.
And the best performances have been at that particular state of the...
How far do you send your yearlings?
Yearlings, I will send them to 500 miles.
Yeah. These are your nest boxes then for your widowed cocks in, Eddie. They're a bit unusual. Are they your own design?
Well, no, they're not actually my design. I've had them from a friend of mine who had them from S.P. Cooper from Snaith. He designed them in the original. In actual fact, the door will open for your hens to come out. This partition drops down as you can push your hen in there, and then your cock lives in this part of the box up here.
Yeah.
And there's a door on there to shut him in or shut him out.
Yeah. And you think because the cock's up high like that, it motivates him?
Well, the thing is, he can't get at his hen, and he's more interested in looking at his hen from up above. And I think it's sort of, actual fact, it makes him a little bit keener. The only thing is with these, if you've got yearlings in the loft, you have a lot of problem with them fighting. If the yearling cock gets into the bottom of the box, he can't get out again.
Yeah, wonderful idea. I've never seen them boxes before.
No, well, I've had them for quite a few years now, and I've sort of found out that they're very useful.
Here's another nice pigeon, Edward. What's this one?
That's one off my old family, the old Willicott Desmit lines. She's actually a granddaughter out of Double Gold, which was 2nd and 6th national for me. Last year she fled Saints, which she was 6th section in the National Flying Club, and then a fortnight later she went on to Paul.
What system did she race on?
She was racing on natural system. I think when she was at Saints, she was just about springing. I think her eggs actually hatched the first night when she came back.
Yeah. How far did you fly from Saints?
Just under 500 miles.
Yeah. It's a beautiful pigeon, this one. How many babies you breed each season, Eddie?
I usually have about 100 youngsters, I think, altogether when I finished.
How far do you race them?
Well, most of them, all my early ones, they go across to the National Flying Club over the Channel to France. They perhaps go once or twice, or even some years they've been 3 times. I race my hens and I also race the cocks as well. I don't keep the cocks back for another year.
No. How far is the Channel to you then, for the young birds?
Guernsey's about 235 miles, and then we're just, I think we're just below 300 miles for the long ones.
Yeah. How do you work them up to that then? What's training for them?
Well, I train them sort of every week, sort of most days of the week early on in the season, and then if I can race them on a Wednesday in the counties, or train them in the counties on a Wednesday, and then they're raced in the club on the Saturday in the federation to get split up.
Yeah. How about feeding them? What do you feed your babies on?
Mainly, I've had them on the last 2 or 3 years. I've had them on a hopper of beans.
So you're a heavy feeder, well?
I'm a heavy feeder with youngsters because I want them to grow. I mean, I'd rather not win a prize with youngsters. I like them to develop and get strong. I want them later on in life. You want to race young birds, you want to put them on the darkness system, and then afterwards you can do what you like with them.
This is where you trap your young birds in, Eddie. Who's your friend?
He's the one without a scraper. He doesn't do a lot of work, but he does a lot of good for me, because he's always in the doorway when my youngsters are out. And that is one of the problems with young bird racing. You race them on a Saturday and you're actually there, and you're disturbing them more than what they're used to. And I always hang this in front of my young bird loft, whether they're flying in and out, or even on a race day, they know there's always somebody standing there.
So it looks like a person. He looks like he wants a good feed, mate.
Yes, poor fellow, it's part of my old clothes. The only thing is, if he used a scraper, he'd be more welcome.
This is a wonderful view from Edward's young bird section. And just out there in the distance is his coarse fishing lake. They've got mirror carp in there up to £35, and I'm definitely coming back. Another nice pigeon, Eddie. What's this one?
Yeah, that's the son out of the mealy cock, which you saw earlier on. He was actually 50th section, 50th open out of Paul when we were 4th and 10th open. He's been to Paul 4 years on the trot now.
Yeah, what systems he raced on?
He's raced natural.
Yeah, what's his best nest condition?
Chipping young one.
Beautiful quality feathering on him, isn't he?
Oh yes, he's marvellous. I think he's the one who's ought to go in the stock loft to replace the old cock when he gets a bit older.
That's a nice horse, Eddie. What's that one?
This is the Boiler White. My daughter rides him at the moment. He was 4th last Sunday in a point to point.
Yeah, beautiful animal.
Yes, he's done very well for it.
Thanks very much for inviting me around today, Eddie. It's been a pleasure to see your pigeons.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming. I hope you've seen a lot. I've thoroughly enjoyed it with you. Thank you very much, Keith.
Edward's a very modest chap, and failed to say that he's won the Langston Gold Cup in the National Flying Club twice, 16 times first section, and in fact he has won first open in the Midlands National Flying Club. A fantastic performance.